A hard truth, and you'll feel it within the first second. The most compassionate people are often the ones who lie the most to themselves. How many times have you smiled, nodded, and said, "It's okay," while deep in your chest there was a hollow, like the mouth of a bottomless well, Jung would call. This the moment the persona speaks the mask of "I'm fine, I'm kind, I can carry more" fitted so neatly that the world relaxes while your soul shrinks a little. Look closely, pleasing everyone isn't love. It's a ritual for soothing the fear of rejection. Empathy without boundaries quietly turns into an addiction, addicted to feeling like you saved someone, addicted to the rescuer role. But on the other side of the mask lives the shadow, silently stockpiling everything you swallow. Anger that doesn't dare breathe, grief that doesn't dare fall, needs that don't dare speak their names. The shadow isn't bad. It's simply the part of truth you've been invoicing to yourself and signing with silence. Do you recognize the small signals? The half-cut sigh before you call one more person who needs you to listen. The reflex apology. Sorry I let you down, even though the one disappointed for years has been you. Each round of endurance makes your body feel shorter and sleep thins to paper. At night in dreams you might see a mirror and a glossy mask staring and never finding your real face. That's the language of the unconscious symbols, reminding you that no one can love a mask for long without harming the face beneath. Why do we cling to pleasing? Somewhere in childhood, someone praised you for yielding. Someone went quiet when you spoke up. You learned a ruthless equation. I'm lovable only when I don't cause trouble. So to avoid trouble, you carried other people's shadows and wiped away your own boundaries like dust on a table until you disappeared. Jung doesn't ask you to fight compassion. He invites you to set it down on solid ground. Give it a spine awake, eyes, and a door that knows how to close. What happens when an empath stops pleasing and starts seeing? First, there's a frightening quiet. A wave of shadow may rise. The anger hurt the feeling of, "So I've been used." Don't panic. That is life energy coming home. Breathe through the swell, and empathy begins to change state from dissolving into everyone to being present with what's right. From smoothing everything over to staying with the truth. A small no spoken gently, "I need time" that stands upright like a spine. An evening where you answer no messages and strangely the room regains oxygen. You don't become cold, you become honest. And honesty has a quiet beauty. It lets you see others as they are, not as you fear they'll shatter. As the persona steps back and the shadow is named something else, rises at center the self, the nucleus that knows how to love without betraying itself. From here, empathy is no longer a damp blanket smothering every flame. It becomes a lamp that lights the boundary. Here is me, there is you. I will walk with you, but I will not live instead of you. If you sense the slightest movement right now, a slender, stubborn wish to sit down and tell yourself the truth, hold on to it. In the next part, we'll open the secret box where the persona lives, name the subtle signs the shadow sends when you stop pleasing, and step through the first door of truth, how to set a boundary without losing your heart. Keep going. What you're looking for isn't out there. It's waiting behind the mask right now. Let's begin with a soft yet piercing truth. In a noisy world, the empath often survives by wearing a very refined mask, the role of the kind one, the listener, the ever available. Jung called this the persona, the social mask we wear to be accepted, like a well-tailored coat shielding us from the cold wind. It isn't evil, it's a tool for belonging. But trouble starts when the coat becomes skin, when we forget the face beneath. For the good empath, this forgetting happens so gently it's hard to notice. You smile when you want to see. You nod while your chest is screaming no. You send a heart emoji even as your real heart can barely beat. And over time you start believing you are the mask. Imagine a typical American day morning. You open your inbox. "Hey, can you take on to this report for me? You know your calendar's full, but your fingers type sure before you even breathe. Lunchtime. A long message from a struggling friend. You stop eating to comfort them, afraid you'll seem cold if you delay. Afternoon, your boss moves the deadline. You nod. You cancel your gym time. Evening, a FaceTime call from family. You hide your exhaustion, put on a big smile, reassure everyone. Before bed, you scroll another 20 minutes replying to more urgent needs. All day, you've been a walking emotional charger. Everyone got a little energy except you. If you mapped your energy, the arrows would all point outward. Inbound arrows. A fog. The persona of the good empath often sounds soft, but it's built with steel. It whispers, be nice. Don't bother anyone. Don't disappoint them. This spell helped you survive at schoolwork and your family. But once it becomes a law, it starts shrinking your boundaries. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You clean up emotional messes you didn't make. You become a room reader, catching every frown, every silence, every glance, translating it into a mission. Soon you stop asking, what do I want? You only ask, what do they need from me to stay okay? That's the moment persona stops being a coat and becomes a golden cage, its bars polished by compliments. You may see yourself in these tiny moments. At work, Jack, the funny colleague, tosses you last-minute tasks with a grin. You're the nicest one here, save me. You stay up late doing his part. The next morning he gets praised for the work. At home, your mom vents family drama. You listen, mediate, absorb. Among friends, you're the first call after a heartbreak. You're the nurse, the pastor, the emotional dumpster, yet no one asks how you feel. And if someone says you've been distant lately, you feel guilty, though that silence may have been the only boundary you ever set. Jung wouldn't blame you. He'd invite you to examine the structure of persona, how it became an unconscious contract. I'll give the world the most pleasant version of myself, and in return, the world will accept me. Useful often, but for empaths, it can lead to evaporation. Because your radar is finely tuned to others' pain, you start reshaping yourself to fit their gaps. Eventually, you lose love and gain technique. You lose presence and gain the performance of reassurance. Then the body and psyche begin to protest. Sleepless nights, headaches after urgent messages, silent anger when someone calls you an angel. Even angels get tired, but angels don't complain. Be honest for 1 minute is pleasing everyone. Truly kindness, or is it conflict avoidance dressed in velvet? Somewhere, perhaps in childhood, you learned that safety meant keeping others comfortable. Every time you say yes, your body exhales, safe for now. Every time you say no, your stomach knots, trouble's coming. So the persona offers a solution, just keep smiling. But the peace you buy is paid with tomorrow's currency. You borrow future energy to settle today's debt. And one day the interest rate spikes. In the dreams of many empaths, masks appear perfect ones without eyes, or mirrors that blur your face in mist. The unconscious is speaking, your true self is waiting to be seen. You don't need to become selfish to see yourself. You just need to set the mask down 5 minutes a day. Imagine tomorrow morning when the email, "Can you help?" arrives instead of typing. Sure, reflexively, you place a hand on your chest and ask, do I have room? Am I pushing my limit? If the answer is no, you write, I can't take this on today, but I can suggest A or B. Your tone is still gentle. Your truth still stands tall. Let me tell you about Maya, a marketing manager in Austin. She's known for being kind and crisis-proof. One evening while clearing her inbox, she sees a message from her boss. Need a new deck by 9 a.m. Can you help? Old reflex type. Yes. But that night, Maya sees her 8-year-old daughter coloring quietly nearby. She places a hand on her child's shoulder, meets her eyes, then types. I can't finish this tonight without sacrificing quality. I suggest 2 options: move the meeting to noon or simplify the scope. I'll send an outline by 9 a.m. for the team to complete. No one died, no one hated her. The deck was better. The meeting went fine. But the real win, the calm in Maya's chest. For the first time, she realized you can set down the mask and the world won't collapse. You can try a 60-second exercise now. Recall the last time you said yes while your body screamed no. What made you say yes? Fear of being judged. Fear of being left. The habit of rescuing. Write 1 line, next time I'll pause 5 seconds to check my truth. Sometimes that 5-second crack in the mask lets your own light shine through. I know this first step is shaky, but you're not alone. If you've made it this far and you've spotted a recent false yes, drop a 1-line comment below. The moment I wore the mask was not to judge yourself, but so we as a community can witness together. Telling the truth to yourself is brave. Your little story might be the mirror someone else needs tonight as they learn to set the mask down. In those first 5 seconds of an old reflex. And if you'd like to practice together real yes, gentle no click, subscribe. Not to boost a number, but to keep a shared promise to treat the truth with kindness. In the next part, we'll step into the room behind the persona where the shadow begins to stir the moment you stop pleasing everyone. Their tides rise, anger, shame, the sense of being used. We won't deny it. We won't drown in it. We'll learn to name each wave, to ride it without betraying ourselves. Stay with me. The mask is off. And on this threshold, truth has saved you a seat. When the shadow rises, there is a quiet yet fierce moment that comes right after you stop nodding out of habit. The room is the same, the people are the same, but the air inside your chest has changed color. A warm wave, sometimes buzzing like electricity, rises from your belly to your throat. Before you can even name it, your mind scolds, "Don't be angry. Be polite." Yet a deeper part, what Jung called the shadow, places its rough hand on your shoulder and whispers, "I am here." This is not a monster. It is the part of truth that has been starved. When the empath stops pleasing everyone, the shadow does not arrive to destroy, it comes to return your life force. Imagine an ordinary evening in New York. On the subway pressed between two crowds, you get a message. "Are you free tonight? I'm feeling awful." Normally, you would cancel your own plans to be there. But today, you are tired. Slowly you type, "I can't come tonight, but I'll call you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Maybe you can reach out to A or B tonight, send." Immediately a storm rises. Guilt creeps in like fog. Then unexpectedly, a small spark of anger appears. Why does everyone assume you are a 24/7 rescue station? That anger deserves to be named, held, and heard. But your nervous system, trained in the ritual of politeness, takes a deep breath to bury it. The more you bury, the higher the wave grows. Jung would invite you to do the opposite. Don't drown the wave, see the wave. Name it as you would name a friend. This is anger. This is hurt. This is the feeling of being taken for granted. Naming is not justifying an outburst. Naming puts you back in the driver's seat. Anger is not the villain. It is the immune system of your boundaries. Without it, your body and soul cannot sense invasion. With it, you know where to say stop. The empath's problem is not having anger. It is not allowing anger to pass through in a healthy way. The result? Emotions build up and leak out as sarcasm, silent punishment, or one day an explosion that frightens even you. Take another example, this time in an office in Seattle. You've already fixed a colleague's presentation twice. The third time at 9:30 p.m., he sends another with the casual note, "Same as before, heat rises in your throat, your back tightens like a bowstring. Pretend nothing is wrong and you'll be up until midnight, telling yourself in the morning, 'I'm just being nice.' Snap back too sharply and you'll fire off a bitter email, then regret it." Jung's way is the third way. Move through the body first. Plant your feet firmly, exhale slowly, count 10 breaths, then let the shadow speak in clear words. "I feel dismissed when files are sent so late, assuming I'll handle them. I can't do it this time, and we need a new timeline." You're not attacking, you're describing reality and setting a boundary. That night you sleep early, no arrows shot into the inbox. The next morning your colleague apologizes. More importantly, you have listened to yourself. In intimate relationships too, the shadow must have a seat at the round table. Elena from Boston shared that she always played peacemaker when her partner exploded. One night after a heated argument, he hung up. Her reflex was to text and soothe, but her hands trembled. Beneath, another voice spoke, "I'm sad and I'm tired." For the first time she wrote, "I won't continue this way. When we're both calm, I'll be ready." Then she set the phone down and made tea. The shadow, once terrified of abandonment, shook like a leaf but did not collapse. By morning, the conversation was slower. Her partner apologized. More importantly, Elena felt something unfamiliar grounded. Not victory, but gravity returning. When the shadow rises, two dangers often appear. The first is swinging extremes from fawning to fight or freeze. You might block the group chat, cut off relatives, or quit your job impulsively. This brings a rush of false power, but leaves ashes behind. The second is justifying darkness, labeling punishment or sarcasm as my boundaries. True boundaries don't need weapons, they are steady lines. So how do we surf the wave instead of capsizing? First, practice, name, count, reset. When the wave hits, place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. Whisper, "Anger is here." Count 30 breaths, not to prolong, but to let your nervous system move from red alert to yellow. Then reset. "I want to speak truth without harming myself or others." That alone changes the track. Second, black pen and white pen. Take 2 pens. With the black, write every word you want to say in anger. Sharp, raw, unfiltered. Don't send it. With the white pen, rewrite the core message without attack I need. Next time, please. From now on, the principle is, you'll be surprised the white pen doesn't weaken your power, it concentrates it. Third, caring without avoiding. Many empaths self-care by escaping spa shopping Netflix to forget the anger. Jung's self-care is walking with it, a warm shower to cool the body, a brisk 15-minute walk, then a short dialogue with the shadow. What are you protecting me from? The answer is often simple: from being seen as a burden. Once you see the root, the anger softens. On a deeper level, active imagination. Sit quietly for 10 minutes, eyes closed. Invite a symbolic image, a wolf, a flame the night sea. Ask, what do you come to teach? Where are the boundaries? One participant, saw a low white fence with an open gate. She understood instantly her boundaries must be low clear, with a gate, not a towering cold wall. From then on, each time she set a boundary, she imagined that gate open to kindness, closed to intrusion. Let me say this clearly. You are not a bad person because you're angry. You are becoming a clearer person. And clarity is the greatest gift you can give those you love, because they know exactly where they stand with you. Empaths often fear being called selfish. In truth, saying no when needed is the most responsible act. You don't promise what you cannot keep. You don't swallow other people's debts. You don't let bitterness grow in secret. Love does not need a dramatic soundtrack. It needs solid ground. Now, I want to invite you into a small step with this community. In the comments, if you're willing, write one sentence in this form. The wave I often avoid is, and next time I will stand with it for 30 breaths. These small lines are like pebbles dropped into a pond ripples, reminding others they are not alone. And if you've met a shadow symbol in a dream, a mask, a wolf boiling, water-broken glass, share it in one line. In the next part, we will use Jungian amplification to draw out the subtle message hidden in the image. But before we move on, there is another door we must open, the root of the empath's automatic. Yes lies in complexes, deep emotional circuits, like the mother or father complex, and in an inner voice, harsh as a judge, the negative animos. If persona is the mask and shadow, the forgotten energy, then complexes are the unconscious contracts you signed early on. If I please, then I am lovable. The negative animus is the supervisor who stamps it. Not enough. Try harder. In the next section, we will face that contract, read the fine print, and begin to rewrite it, not to fight anyone, but to politely return to the past what no longer belongs to us. On this path, every well-placed no is a bigger yes to your truth. The unconscious contracts. When the shadow has already knocked on the door and you begin to stand upright in the room of truth, you encounter a deeper layer where hidden strings tug your hand to nod yes, even while your heart wants to shake no. Jung called these complexes ancient circuits of emotion woven from memory, family voices, and tiny moments that once taught you love must be bought with compliance. Very early, you may have learned a harsh equation. If I please, then I am lovable. You never wrote it in words. You signed it in silence and swallowed tears and nights when you stayed quiet instead of speaking up. These complexes, the mother complex, the father complex, are not accusations against parents. They are unconscious inheritances from an entire lineage. But if we never look at them, we live inside them as if inside water, never realizing we are wet. Take the mother complex, often found in empaths. When a mother is too tired, too anxious, too empty, the sensitive child unconsciously becomes her little comforter. The child wears invisible gloves, touches her fear, dries her tears, learns to predict the storm before it arrives. Slowly, the child identifies with the needs of others whenever someone wobbles. Their body reflexively reaches to steady them. Empathy is no longer a gift. It becomes a survival strategy, a fawn response, soothing, pleasing, smoothing everything down to bring temporary peace. With the father complex, the child learns another creed: be better and only then you'll be loved. They become the carrier, hyper-punctual, over-prepared. And every time exhaustion strikes, a voice whispers an echo of the negative animus. Not enough. Push harder. Two different creeds, one outcome. You drift away from your own truth. The negative animus is like a steel glass judge. His voice is cold, precise, absolute. Good people don't disappoint. Boundaries are selfish. Be quiet, don't make it a big deal. Empaths hear these lines so often they mistake them for conscience. But conscience points you toward what is right. This voice only points you toward what is comfortable for others. That tiny difference, if unseen, can erode a whole life. Do you notice how these complexes trigger in everyday American life? A text arrives without an emoji. A typing bubble appears, then vanishes. A missed call from your mother. Suddenly your stomach tightens. Shoulders arise, fingers type. I'm fine before your heart can check in. Or in the office, someone calls you a rock star, code for you'll save every deadline. You smile at the flowers and work late into the night. Behind the nice actions runs an old contract. I'll trade my truth to buy your peace. Rewriting the contract, that's the work here. Not fighting anyone, not rejecting family, but revising the sentence inside. Start by finding the source scene, a tiny memory when you realized you had to please to be safe. Maybe at dinner you confessed sadness and were brushed off. That's nothing. Don't bother us. Maybe a bad grade drew a look of disappointment and you vowed never to cause trouble again. Meet that child in imagination. Close your eyes for 2 to 3 minutes. Sit down at their level. Hand them a soft blanket and whisper, "Back then you were small. Silence was wise. Today we are grown. We are allowed to speak truth." That alone loosens one knot. Next, rebuild the inner parents. The inner mother provides nurture, rest, and the assurance you are lovable even if you do nothing. The inner father provides structure, bedtime priorities, schedules, boundaries. Lines that are quiet yet firm. Many empaths have a rich inner mother but a weak inner father, so kindness turns into exhaustion. Strengthening the father is not about rigidity. It is about giving goodness a backbone. Then transform the animus. Instead of letting him judge, recruit him as an architect. Each time you hear, "Not enough," respond, "Thank you for wanting to protect me. Help me choose the one most important thing today." To your surprise, the steel voice learns to soften, to point to priorities. From judge, the animus becomes ally. This is not magic. It is the redirection of inner masculine energy from punishment to purpose. Let's see this in real lives. Grace, a nurse in Denver, grew up with an anxious mother. Each sigh sent her into action, cleaning, cooking, babysitting. By 34, she was drained. In therapy, she wrote an unsent letter to her mother. "I returned to you the panic that was never mine." On her desk, she taped a note. "Boundaries are gates, not walls." Next time a colleague asked her to swap shifts last minute, Grace placed her hand on her chest, breathed 30 times, and said, "I can't take the evening shift tonight. If needed, I can swap Friday morning." No one hated her, and that night, for the first time in months, she slept deeply. A new contract had been signed. I am lovable, even when I say no. Noah, a designer in Portland, carried a father complex. His dad rarely praised, so Noah turned life into a proving ground. He took every project, met every deadline, always over-delivered. After a breakup, his ex told him, "You're good to everyone but yourself." That sentence stopped him cold. He began a small ritual each morning, writing one vow of truth. "Today I choose quality over pleasing." He also made a 24-hour rule, never accept new work if his calendar was already full. When the animus mocked him as weak, Noah replied, "Then design me a sustainable framework." After 3 months, Noah was still excellent, but no longer a hostage to praise. The techniques can be simple yet deep. A trigger map. Write down 3 situations that make you nod against your heart text without emojis, last-minute emails, a relative's sigh. Next to each draft, one truthful but gentle response in advance. Example, "I want to help, but I don't have bandwidth right now." 2 options I can offer are, or "I'll listen tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tonight I need rest." When the storm hits, you won't have to invent. You'll just read your prepared line in a calm voice. Or the return ritual, hold a small stone whisper. I return the expectations that are not mine and place it on a desk corner. A tiny act that teaches the body the old contract has expired. Notice this, every boundary you draw will shift some relationships. Some people will bloom because they finally meet you. Others will fade because they love the mask more than your face. It hurts, but it is compassionate cleansing. Real love does not require you to liquefy yourself to fill someone's cracks. It asks you to keep your shape so together you can build a shared one. When the contract "I must please to be loved" dissolves, a new contract appears. I will love you in truth, and I will love myself no less. This is where community becomes a kind mirror. If you're listening now, write in the comments one short sentence, not analysis, just testimony. The unconscious contract I am rewriting is, maybe I don't put out fires 24/7, or I deserve slowness. Your words may help someone in Dallas, Seattle, Miami pause and realize they are not alone. If you feel safe, share one of your triggers too. Together we'll craft truthful, gentle replies for those moments. And from here, the next door opens naturally when the old contract loosens. Another habit must change projection. Empaths often project their goodness onto others, then carry their darkness for them. To see truth, we must reclaim these projections, see people as they are both warm and sharp, and see ourselves with the same dual vision. In the next part, we'll learn 3 questions to clean the lens before each decision to rescue or to step back and practice a dream symbol amplification to see clearly who belongs to us and who belongs only to the lesson. Let's go on. The road is less dark now, and just around the bend, truth will cease to be frightening. It will become home. Perhaps the kindest thing we can do for our hearts right now is to admit this. We've come a long way. From the mask of "I'm fine, I'm kind, I'll handle everything" to the moment we set it down and wash our face in the warm water of truth. From the shadow's rising wave demanding to be named to the unconscious contract being reread, crossed out, and rewritten. From projections dreamy or anxious to a clear gaze where people appear both warm and edged. And then, at the still center of all that movement, something stands up quietly, the self, the nucleus that knows how to love without betraying itself. Yes, when an empath stops pleasing everyone, you don't turn to stone. You come alive in the true sense. Love is no longer a liquid spilling through every crack, but a river with banks. Here is me, there is you. We meet on a bridge called truth. Look again at the images that have traveled with us. The clear mask, the low white fence with an open gate, the white kitchen now lit by a steady blue flame. They aren't just pretty metaphors, they're codes for your body-mind that a new order has been established. The persona steps back to its proper place, a tool for dialogue, no longer a glittering prison. The shadow once exiled becomes heat embers under ash warming the boundaries you just rebuilt. The animus is no longer a judge banging the gavel next to your ear. He's a patient architect laying brick by brick priorities, time blocks, words that are true and gentle. Inside, the inner mother whispers, "You are lovable even when you save no one," and the inner father answers, "And here's a schedule that keeps your promises to yourself." When those two principles shake hands, compassion grows a spine. Wisdom finds a heart. Notice this when we stop overemphasizing "be pleasant to everyone." The light in the room changes color. Some people step closer. They realize they're meeting a human being, not an emergency station. Others step back. The useful mask has vanished. Both movements are healthy, because love set on the ground of truth needs no actors. It needs presence. And presence for empaths is the rarest gift. You listen without dissolving. You help without carrying another's life. You love without losing yourself. This is the maturity of empathy, the warm rubedo after the black and white phases of inner transformation. To seal the change with action, here's a tiny map concrete enough to start tomorrow. Just 7 starter days, a gentle greeting to yourself. Each day, pause 5 seconds before any yes and ask the truth in your chest. Give answers to big asks after 24 hours, not in the swell of emotion. Spend 10 minutes in an imagined dialogue with the people pleaser. Thank it for protecting you. Then invite it to protect you in a new way. Use one true and gentle script with one real person on your calendar. Write a daily energy budget, how much you'll give and where you'll replenish. Place a 2-sided mirror on your desk. Left the story you tell about someone else. Write the part of truth in you. Sunday night, a small ritual. Place a pebble in your palm, whisper, "I return the expectations that aren't mine." Then set it down with one deep breath. Small things repeated are the path. I want to invite you honoring your own private map to leave a living trace below this video. Write a single short line the whole community can witness the truth. I choose this week is, or my gentle no today is, if you've dreamed a symbol, a mask, a door, a wolf, a warm kitchen, a white fence, share it in one sentence. From these simple lines, a shared healing rhythm will ring out someone. In Austin will read someone in Seattle. Someone in Tampa will see someone in Denver. And we'll realize we're not alone on this road from savior role to whole human. If you've come this far, some part of you is ready. Not ready to be perfect, but ready to be honest. Honest about the fatigue, the desire to be prioritized, the fear of being misunderstood, and the kindness you still want to keep intact. Keep the small lamp you've just lit. Each time you're about to reflexively nod, yes, touch your chest, and remember, I have a house inside, not a temporary tent. Each time guilt rises, whisper, I choose truth, and my love knows how to walk with truth. Each time someone calls you selfish, smile softly. I'm learning to love in a grown-up way. If this touched you, stay with us. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Not to chase numbers, but to keep a shared promise every week. We set down one more layer of mask and add one more hinge to that little white gate. Share this with the friend you sense is exhausted by their own goodness. It might be the cord they need to find their way home. And leave a comment, even one sentence, because when one person tells the truth, another finds their voice. In the end, this isn't just the empath story, it's the story of anyone who wants to love without leaving themselves. We won't end with a period, but with a breath. Step out of this video like stepping onto the porch after rain. The light is soft, not blinding, just enough to see the path. The clear mask rests on the table. The low wooden fence stands with its gate ajar. The warm kitchen hums with a gentle boil. You take your small lamp. From here, every well-placed no is a larger yes to truth. Every boundary you keep is a warm supper. Every time you see others as they are, you'll see yourself a little more clearly. I'll meet you in the next video where we keep practicing clean empathy with truth and love in the shape of you. If the persona is the mask that helps us survive, the shadow, the forgotten reservoir of energy, complex is the unconscious contracts we've signed, and projection the tinted glass we mistake for truth, then individuation is the process of returning each piece to its rightful place so we can come back to the self, that quiet center that knows how to love without betraying itself. This is not a loud metamorphosis. It is a string of small, consistent movements day after day so that kindness grows a spine and truth grows a heart. Let's begin with active imagination. A dialogue between you and the inner pleaser. Sit quietly for 10 to 12 minutes, hand on your chest, breathing slow. Invite back a symbolic image you've seen lately, a polished mask, a sterile white kitchen, or a low wooden fence with an open gate. Whisper to it, what have you been protecting me from? Listen without judgment. You might hear from the fear of being abandoned, from other people's anger, from the memory of being called a burden. Say back, thank you. From now on, I want to protect myself in a new way by speaking truth without harm. If the image is the mask picture, yourself setting it down, washing your face with warm water, then wearing a transparent mask, the symbol of gentle honesty. If it's the fence paint, it's strengthen the hinges and hang a small sign. Gate open by schedule, not open all night. These are not childish fantasies. They are codes the unconscious understands and obeys. Next, let's talk about boundaries as a living system, not one-time slogans. Think of them as 4 puzzle pieces. Principle. One short spine-like sentence. Example. I only reply to emotional messages between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., or I don't accept overnight rush jobs. Script. 1-2. Gentle but firm sentences you'll use in real life. I want to help, but to keep quality, I'll need more time. Here are 2 options. Consequence. Not a threat, but consistency. If it's after hours, I'll reply the next morning. Repair. How to return if you overreact or go too soft. I spoke too sharply earlier, I'm sorry. My point is, I can't do tonight, but tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll be ready. Placed in daily American life, this matters. When your boss texts at 10 p.m., need a new deck instead of firefighting, you say, to do this well, I'll need until 1 p.m. tomorrow. I'll send an outline by 9 a.m. with Alex handling the data. At home, when your mom calls 3 times while you're in a meeting, you text, "I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back at 6 p.m. Please text one line if it's urgent." Then you keep the promise. That's repair. It builds trust. In love, when your partner wants you every evening, you say, "On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I need 90 minutes alone to recharge. At 8 p.m., I'll call you and be fully present." Boundaries don't freeze love. They make it clear. Then comes animus alignment, turning the inner judge into an architect. Each morning, instead of a long to-do list, let the animus help you choose one most important task, MIT. Ask, which task, if done, would cut chaos by half? Write it at the top. Guard 90 minutes, phone off door, closed water poured. When the judge whispers, "Not enough," respond. Design the next clear step. By noon, the MIT is done. What you feel is not exhaustion, but steadiness. And at night, you can give presence to those you love without being drained. The animus has finally been given the right role. Another key step, rebalancing the 4 functions. Feeling, thinking, sensation, and intuition. Empaths often lean heavily on feeling plus intuition, leaving thinking and sensation weak. Try a 4/4 hour each week. 15 minutes feeling. Write down 3 main emotions this week and the need beneath them. 15 minutes thinking. Make one decision with 3 clear criteria. 15 minutes sensation. Walk briskly, take a warm shower, stretch your shoulders. 15 minutes intuition. Close your eyes, note one image or dream symbol. When all 4 wheels turn, empathy stops being a shaky raft. It becomes a balanced canoe, capable of going far. And don't forget tiny rituals to anchor habits. The 5-second pause before every yes. Place your hand on your chest and ask, "Is this my truth?" The 24-hour rule for big requests: never decide in the heat of emotion. Answer the next day. The clean empathy checklist. Before helping, ask 3 questions. Is there someone else better suited? Do I have enough energy? Is this sustainable? If 2 answers are no, offer another path instead of burning yourself out. The signs of transformation will come quietly. Your energy graph smooths out, your sleep deepens, guilt episodes shorten, replaced by a gentle sadness, the sadness of no longer being the rescuer. Relationships will restructure. Some will draw closer to meet the real you. Others will drift away because they only love the mask. Dreams will shift color from the cold mask to a face with eyes. From the sterile kitchen to a warm one with a blue flame. From the endless night sea to a quiet lake with a shore. The unconscious is saying, "You are coming home." These are not just theories. Let's ground them in real lives. Ava, a teacher in Minneapolis, once replied to parents at all hours. She set a rule: emails 8 a.m. or 5 p.m. in response within 24 hours. At first, guilt surged. By week 3, she saw her class calmer because the teacher was rested. Marco, an engineer in San Jose, always took the hardest tasks to earn praise. He tried the 24-hour rule, and in the waiting period, his boss found extra resources. Lily, a single mom in Tampa, used the repair script with her teen daughter. "I spoke too quickly. What I mean is phones leave the table at 9 p.m. Let's pick a dishwashing song together." The kitchen softened. Dinner had music. Now I invite you to connect with our community. In the comments, write a 1-sentence truth declaration you'll practice for the next 7 days. Example: I choose truth even if it disappoints someone, or my boundary has a gate but it's not open 24/7. If you like a challenge, add our hashtag #7 soft nose, 7 days, 7 gentle, rightful no's. Not to score points, but to remember courage has teammates. And if you have a recent dream symbol, a door, a wolf, a warm kitchen, a white fence, share it in 1 line. Next week, I'll select a few symbols and amplify them with Jungian insight, offering meaning and practice for each. Because when one person speaks truth, others find their own voice. That's how a community heals slowly but deeply. You'll discover this as individuation deepens empathy, no longer means dissolving into the other. It becomes presence with boundaries. You still listen, but you don't accept every emotional package delivered to the wrong address. You still help, but in a way that empowers, not creates dependence. And your heart doesn't harden, it matures. Love becomes less dramatic, more reliable. Perhaps the kindest thing we can offer our own heart right now is this gentle truth. We have come a long way. From the mask that whispers, "I'm fine, I'm kind, I'll take care of everything," to the moment we set it down and wash our face with the warm water of truth. From the rising waves of the shadow demanding to be named, to the unconscious contracts once signed in silence, now reviewed, crossed out, and rewritten. From anxious projections and dreamy illusions to a clear gaze that sees the human being both warm and edged. And then at the center of all this movement, something quiet rises: the self, the loving core that no longer betrays itself to be loved. Yes, when the empath stops pleasing everyone, they don't turn to stone. They become truly alive. Love is no longer a liquid leaking through every crack. It becomes a river with banks, on one side me, on the other you, and in between, a bridge named truth. Now look again at the symbols that walk beside you: the transparent mask, the low wooden fence with an open gate, the white kitchen that now glows with blue fire. These were never just pretty metaphors, they are codes, messages for your body and soul whispering, a new order has been established. Persona retreats to its rightful place, no longer a glittering prison, but a communication tool. Shadow once exiled becomes warmth embers beneath ash heating the boundaries you've just rebuilt. Animus no longer slams the gavel in your ear, but becomes the architect, laying bricks of priorities, time blocks, words that are true and tender. Inside, the inner mother softly says, "You are lovable even when you save no one." And the inner father replies, "And here is your schedule to keep your promises to yourself." When these two inner principles join hands, compassion grows a spine, wisdom grows a heart. Have you noticed? When we stop overemphasizing the need to be nice, the light in the room changes. Some people step closer. They recognize a human being, not a rescue station. Others step away. They miss the disappearing mask. Both movements are holy. For love, when rooted in truth, doesn't need performers. It needs presence. And presence for the empath is the rarest gift of all: to listen without dissolving, to help without carrying, to love without losing yourself. This is maturity.